walking away
All
from.
right, so let's move on to the next section. I'm excited for this one. Lots of potential choices here, but we each picked three breakout players. I actually picked five just in case we had any duplicates, because I didn't want to duplicate because there's been, I feel like a number of people that have been breaking out this season, and I want to give as much like recognition as we can to different players. So let's go back and forth. You could do the first one, and then we'll switch off. So why don't you give the first breakout player on your list?
Yeah, so mine was a guy that we didn't expect to get a ton of minutes this year, but he broke through. He beat out his competition, and he is just lighting it up. His name is Brad Guzan.
Yeah. What a great pick. He is breaking out.
No, so this goes back to my overachieving team in Minnesota, and it's Tani Aluwase. When I looked at breakout players for Minnesota back at the beginning of the year, I picked Jordan Adebayo Smith. And I got tons of comments on that saying, no, Oluwase is going to be the guy who plays as the second striker this year, way more than Jordan Adebayo Smith will. Like, look out for him. He's going to be legit. And they were spot on. 7 goals, 4 assists, and 15 appearances, a Canadian national team spot for the in his process. He put guys like Timu Puki on the bench. He's been really, really good for Minnesota, and I really hope that continues because if he can take this form into League's Cup and link up with the League's Cup version of Bongi Hlongwane, Minnesota are just, they're never going to lose a game until they get back into MLS play when everybody goes back to normal.
Don't forget Robin Lurt is in there, and he's been cooking this season.
Yeah, but it's the Oluwase and Bongi show in League's Cup.
Yeah, I mean, in League's Cup, that would go insane. Yeah, I had him on my list as well. 11 goal contributions in 600 minutes is an insane output. So, this is exactly why I picked five because I knew we were going to overlap on some of them. I'm going to go with one that I think is maybe a little bit early on, but I think he's on his way to being a breakout player. Gavin Beavers for RSL.
Damn.
It's small sample size. It's 5 games, but it's recent games, and in those recent games, he has been so good. 81% save percentage, 2 clean sheets in those 5 games, and our favorite stat, PSXG plus minus, of course, 2.2. And he did that in 5 games. That's crazy. That's not like a average stat where it's like a save percentage where you can have 100% from one game. Like that's a stat you build up, like you accumulate as you play more games. So for him to have 2.2 already after only 5 games is crazy. I think he's been really, really good. It is a small sample size, so if people disagreed with it, I'm not going to argue against it. But I think if he continues this form, he's absolutely on his way to being a breakout star in this league, and he's doing it right now at not only 18 years old, but for the top team in the Western Conference. So he's been doing great. He's been looking great. I think he's going to continue this form, and he's absolutely going to be a breakout star for the season.
Let's make it clear, even if they did disagree with you, you're not arguing with them anyway because you're afraid of comments.
Well, if I don't share the episodes, then I'm certainly not looking at comments.
I'll stick in the Western Conference and I'll stick with the same exact team actually, and I'll go with Andres Gomez, a guy who was okay at best last year. I mean, 1 goal, 5 assists in 1,600 minutes last year has now exploded for 16 goal contributions, 10 of them goals in 1,400 minutes this year. Red hot RSL, top of the West. They have 40 goals scored, and that's the most that a team that doesn't have a guy named Misai in their team has in this league. He's been a revelation, right? He's taken a huge step forward, been one of the main men next to and complementing Chicho Arango very, very nicely. So definitely on my list there is somebody who has broken out this year.
I'll go with my next pick because I think it's pretty safe you're not picking this guy for MLS political reasons. But gonna give some love. Another goalkeeper, Matt Freese for NYCFC, because he has been really, really good this season. And honestly, we probably should have seen it coming because in 2023, I know he didn't. I think he only got like the last bit of the season, but he was so good for them at the last bit of the season last year. And his form has continued into this season. Surprisingly enough, he doesn't have a ton of clean sheets, but the team hasn't conceded a lot either. Only 22 goals allowed in 18 games. So it's a pretty solid goals allowed per 90 comparatively in the league. He has a 78 save percentage and 71 saves, which I believe is third. So he's seeing a lot of shots. He's making a lot of saves. And I think because of that, it's what put him at the highest. But of course, our favorite stat, PSXG plus minus, he is clearing away the highest right now in the entire league. He's at 6.4 already. The next highest is 4.8. It's a testament to how good he's been this season. He's a huge reason why NYCFC is overperforming and why they're sitting fourth in the East right now. And so I feel safe going with this because there's no way you're picking an NYCFC player. And there's no way you're going to ever agree with my statement, but that's okay. I know deep down in your heart that you definitely agree.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
You off your soapbox now. Can I move on? I have two more as well. So if this overlaps with one of yours, we can cross that off.
Okay.
And I've gone from yeah, I'll go with Mateus Bogusz first. Whenever he's not in my fantasy team, he kills it. I mean, just so good. And here's the
Stop
thing.
picking him.
Here's the thing. Anybody, RSL, LA Galaxy, you guys really want to lock up top of the West? Give me a call. I have my prices set. I will put him in my fantasy. I'll take the hit on my fantasy team if you want the points in real life. But there's a price, so just we'll work that out. But he's been really good, right? About 10 goal contributions, about 1,500 minutes. In our previews, we mentioned that he was going to have to take a big step forward this year because at least up until the halfway point, it was clear they weren't bringing in anybody really else to help them out. Bouanga was going to Bouanga. He's done that. I think he's got 12 goals already. But who was going to step up to help him? That's Mateus Bogusz. He's been very, very good. And again, coming off of a 3 goals, 4 assists in 1,900 minutes, he's already, surpassed that in 400 less minutes. So definitely has made a good step forward this year.
That's good. We didn't overlap on that one. I'm going with another small sample size one here, but I am going with Kevin Kelsey for FCC.
Okay.
Only about 500 minutes played so far, but he's got 4 goals already. And every time I feel like I look at the FCC score timeline, he's like always scoring. And I guess that kind of shows up in the box score as well. I mean, he's got 0.74 goals per 90. So he has been on an amazing scoring run since joining FCC. Feels like FCC has found another really good striker prospect. They seem to have a good pipeline of that. I think a really good testament to how good he's been this season is the fact that he has a 1.4 XG and he's got 4 goals out of that. That's crazy. Like he's really doing well at scoring with the opportunities that he gets. I think if he continues this form, pairing him with Lucci makes FCC a really dangerous team because we know how good they are defensively already. So adding to that firepower after they've lost Bernier and Vasquez in recent seasons really makes FCC dangerous.
Yeah. The only other one I have, and it's just building off of something that we covered in our Not So Deep Dive series, and that's Ibrahim Aliou, right? We talked about a guy who really had a burden on him to make a step forward for this Houston side. And in just 1,500 minutes, 4 goals, 3 assists. Not like the upper echelon of breakout players by any means, but you can see he's always in and around any goals that Houston are producing. Now, the reason why he's not in my top 3, Houston in 8th place, they do only have 22 goals. So it's not like he's out there dropping 12 and 3 and lighting the league on fire, or like 8 and 8. But he's done enough to at least warrant a little shout out. And then of course breakout players like Wiki Carmona from Red Bull. So
yeah, okay.
I haven't hit any of my Red Bull. I've glossed over them. So
I know but you said you were gonna have one for every single time, and this is the only time.
Well, the overachieving team, that's a team. The underachieving team, that's not Red Bull. And then breakout players, I was like, oh, I don't want to drag this out. We'll wait till we get to the awards, I guess.
I mean, all the rest of these you can easily throw a Red Bull reference in, so we'll see.
So can you, and you better pick them.
I've got one in the future.
Me too.
All right, so my last breakout star, really quick. I know we said 3 and it ended up being 5 because we only duped on 1, but just kind of a testament to how many guys are having great seasons this year that maybe had lower expectations. I've gone for Adelson Malanda.
Nice. Good
Charlotte,
one.
Or Charlotte FC. Sorry.
FC Charlotte.
I don't know where that
came
from.
I go ball.
Yeah, I know this was a guy that you were critical of in previous seasons. You weren't a big fan of his, and I think honestly Charlotte was just not doing well either. So kind of a summation of how the team and also his performances were. Um, I won't necessarily say that he was bad before, but I'll let Andrew say that for us. So if anybody's angry at it, Andrew said it, not me. But he's been really good this season, and I think it's been coinciding with Charlotte's good performances. Did you just dab? What was
You
that?
did. I had to. I
I
had to
didn't
make sure you
dab.
didn't
I
look
coughed.
silly. That's not
I
what I
cover
saw.
my mouth when I cough.
I had to. I had to. I had to help you out there.
Charlotte has been the second best defensive team in the East. I understand there's some games in hand and all that stuff, so potentially the best defensive team in the East. And I think Milanda's been a big part of that. I think he's really stepped up his game. I think he's been really fantastic this season. He was somebody that I honestly considered for midway defensive player of the year. I didn't end up choosing him. I will not spoil who I did end up choosing, but he's been really good. I think it's been a step up from previous seasons for him.
Nice.